and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Caitlin and this is my channel, Something Bookish. So my library usually has book sales where they sell like paperbacks for $1 and hardcovers for $2. My library usually does book sales and I go there and I get a whole bunch of books because they're so cheap and like usually they're in a decent, usually they're pretty decent. But this video is not a haul. Because I know me, I usually get rid of those books within like the first few weeks after owning them. Because I get them at a really cheap price and think like, oh my gosh, I'm going to need these. Like I'm going to want to get to these books eventually, right? And then I get them. And then I have them on my shelves for a little bit. And then I realize that I actually don't really want to read them. That I got them purely because I've heard other people talking about them. And maybe there was an author that I really liked. Or that I wanted to give a second chance to. So that's what most of this is. The rest of it is books that I bought on a whim. Just these are books that I thought I'd enjoy, but now I'm looking back and realizing maybe not. So yes, this is an unhaul. It's crazy. I have 3 boxes of books to get rid of. I'm going to try and get through these pretty fast because there's a lot of books, but we'll see. And I'm going to try and give like a specific reason for like a few books at a time maybe. Well, so the first book I'm getting rid of is The Siren by Kiera Cass. I've had this one for years. I read it once, I think I might have read it again. I just don't really have an inclination to read it again, and so I don't really want to keep it. I'm also getting rid of Book Jumper for pretty much the same reason. I read it once, I don't really want to read it again. Yes, it's a pretty book, but like it didn't hold my interest as much, so I think it should just go. So I'm getting rid of Evermore and Blue Moon, mainly because I just didn't really like this series that much. I felt like it droned on in some parts, and so I just don't have any inclination to finish this. The next 3 books I'm getting rid of are The Looking Glass Wars, Seeing Red, and Our Arch Enemy. These, I started reading Looking Glass, so I got these because I'm really into Wonderland and stuff, like I really do enjoy those books. But I started reading The Looking Glass Wars because I was really hyped to get into them. Like they have pictures in the middle, it's really, really cool. And it took me a long time to get through it, I just couldn't connect to the characters, so I'm just gonna unhaul them. The next book is Scorched. I read this like 5 years ago, and there was a sequel and all that stuff. I just never got to getting those, and so it has sat on my shelf for years. I really don't need it, so I'm just gonna unhaul it and get rid of it. Okay, this one I feel might upset a few people, but I have like reasons and stuff. A Wrinkle in Time. So I know a lot of people really, really love this series. I'm getting rid of this purely because I tried to read it one day and I just never really got into it. I feel like it's more of it's for a younger audience. I just couldn't get into it, so I'd rather give this to someone who would be able to get into it and really enjoy it. The next series I'm getting rid of is Under the Never Sky, Through the Ever Night, and Into the Still Blue. I got these off a whim. I remember seeing them when I was like really young in 5th grade and never really jumping on the hype train, I guess. When it was really when it was really big, and I never really got to them. So now, and I saw them at the library book sale, got them, and then realized that I have absolutely no interest in reading this series, and I don't know why I got it. This is going to take me a while, so I'm gonna go through them I'm gonna go through the books and then explain at the end. Marked, Hidden, Betrayed, Chosen, Revealed, Hunted, Awakened, Tempted, Untamed, Destined, and Burned. Those are all books in the House of Night series. I collected that a while ago and I did read the whole series. I just don't think I'll ever reread them again, mainly because it's like 12 books. That takes up basically a whole month of reading. And I'd rather read new, interesting books that I absolutely adore. Those are okay, they're decent, but not something I want to come back to. The next book I'm getting rid of is Eye of Mines by James Dashner. I read his Maze Runner series. I kind of couldn't. It was hard for me to get through that, and I picked this up because I recognized the author's name, but I just don't think I'll be able to get through this one, especially if I couldn't get through Maze Runner, so I'm also going to be getting rid of Stoneheart. I found this one at a library book sale. Didn't really think about it that much. Just thought the cover looked cool, the plot seemed kind of interesting, so I got it, and now that I look at it, like I really don't want to get to it. Alright, the next 2 books are The Artemis Fowl Opal Deception and The Time Traveler. I got these because like it was around when people were starting to talk about Artemis Fowl again, because the new book covers are coming out. So I got these because I'm like, oh yeah, Artemis Fowl, super happy because like I read these books before. And then I got a glimpse of the new covers, and now I want those more than I want these. So, like, and I'm not even going to read these because like I need the whole series to get through the whole thing, and I don't have it. So I'd rather just give these to someone else who would probably be able to finish their collection with these two. This one might upset many people, but there's reasons for it. And that's His Dark Materials trilogy. So let me do a little bit of explaining. I watched The Golden Compass as a young child. Like, that was my first introduction into this world, and I adored it. I know some people say that that movie is worse than the books and like terrible, but it was my favorite movie for the longest time. And so I tried getting into The Golden Compass, I think last year, and I just really couldn't because my mind was framed with this nostalgia of the movies, and like I had all these thoughts of what would have already happened, and it made me upset. So I'm going to give these to someone who has not seen the movie yet. Well, I can't be sure of that, but hopefully I'll give these to someone who has not seen the movie yet and will hopefully enjoy the series a lot more than I will be able to. Another book that I randomly picked up based on the cover and the synopsis is Nightblade. I just kind of saw this and thought, hey, that looks interesting. I don't really want to read this now. It's just been sitting on my shelf. I haven't really been into it. I want to read more current books, but also books that I've heard people talk about, books that I think other people have already enjoyed, and so I don't really want to get into this. I know this one might upset people because it's such a well-loved series. It's been made into a movie, people really enjoyed the movie, all that stuff, but I'm getting rid of Beautiful Creatures, not Beautiful Darkness. I read Beautiful Creatures. It was kind of like an okay read. I didn't really love it, I didn't really hate it, and then I tried getting into Beautiful Darkness and I just couldn't. So I'm going to unhaul this because I don't think I'll ever get back into this series. I'm also going to get rid of Fallen. This one was bought at the library book sale. I just kind of hate that sticker, and if I am going to get Fallen, I'm going to get the one without the sticker and maybe a hardcover. I'm also getting rid of The Host by Stephenie Meyer. I read this like 6 or 7 years ago. I don't ever think I'll read it again. I've heard it's like, I forget most of what happened in it. It's a pretty big book. Like, this is big. I don't want to read another book this size. That's not something I think I'll like 100% fall for. So I'm just gonna give this to someone else probably. Okay, the next 3 books I'm getting rid of are all 3 books by the same author, and that's Elizabeth Chandler. This is Dark Secrets 1, then we have Dark Secrets 2, and Kissed by an Angel. I read these the Dark Secrets series like 2 years ago, and I really did enjoy it, but I just don't see myself reading them again, especially now that the mystery, like I know the mysteries and I know what happens in them, so they can go. Kissed by an Angel I thought, because like I didn't even look at the title, I just saw like this cover, which is so distinct to the author, and thought this was Back Door of Midnight, which is the 3rd book in that series. And so I quickly picked it up and then realized it was Kissed by an Angel. This is a romance. I'm not really into like paranormal romance that much, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. These 3 books might upset some people, but I'll explain why. So I'm getting rid of Percy Jackson Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief, and the Titan's Curse, and The Last Olympians. So I actually have this whole series in paperback already, but those are, like, I have specific covers and like it looks really nice, so I might keep that one. And I want to give these away. This one's missing its jacket, so I don't really want to keep it, and it's hardcover. These are all 3 different editions, and so having a collection with 3 different editions makes me very upset. This is like the movie one. I'm not keeping this one. This is actually really nice quality of the 1st edition paperbacks, and this is just a hardcover, so. Okay, the next books, I feel like some people are going to get angry with me over some of these, but I'm sorry. So the first one is Slated. This one I read maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and I really did enjoy this one. Though I felt when I first read it the ending was lacking, mainly because I didn't realize I skipped the last chapter. So I reread this, and then I read the whole series, and now I just don't feel any inclination to reread the series again, so I'm just going to get rid of this. The next book I'm going to get rid of is Mirage by Samaya Dodd. I just didn't, like, I wanted to love this book so much, I just didn't really feel that connection to it, so I'm just going to unhaul it. So this one is an LK exclusive cover, which makes me kind of nervous about unhauling it, but I don't want to keep it. So that is Amber and Dusk by Lyra Celine. I'm not really that interested in the plot line. I'm not really interested in the storyline, so I'm just going to pass it on to someone who might be. Okay, the next book is Wink Poppy Midnight. If you saw any video, or if you saw my wrap-up, you'll know that I read this. This was the first book I read this year. I just don't really want to keep it because it is kind of a mystery. It is a decent book. It's just not something I want to keep. So I'm going to pass it on to someone who might be more interested in keeping this and reading it. The next book is Ruby Red by Kirsten Gier. I read this trilogy a long time ago, and I've always kept this book in case I want to reread that trilogy, but I've just been noticing recently that I really, A, won't ever have the time to reread, or B, I just don't want to reread this, so this can go. However sad I am to get rid of it, I'm happy that I have more space on my shelves for books that I'm very, very interested in. The next book is The Chemist by Stephenie Meyer. I got this on a whim. I'm probably just going to give this to my mom, or maybe even my aunt, because I don't know. I'm not sure if I'll like Stephenie Meyer's work yet, so we'll see. This series might make some people upset at me, but I'm past that. And that is The Magicians. So we have The Magicians, The Magician King, and The Magician's Land. This series I got because I heard about the TV show, and I wanted to watch the TV show, but I wanted to tell myself, let's read the books first. I tried to read The Magicians. It got to this point where there was nothing happening in the storyline. There seemed to be absolutely no plot. I just didn't know what was supposed to happen, and it felt like there was no reason for me to keep reading, so I just kind of stopped. And then I never got back to it, and I don't think I ever will. So I'm unhauling this one. Okay, this one will definitely make a few people angry with me, but there's nothing I can do about that because I just wasn't happy with this series. So I'm unhauling Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, Library of Souls, hold on, Hollow City, and Tales of the Peculiar. I got through Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, and I just got halfway through, and it was like there was time travel and stuff, and I was just like, this just isn't capturing my attention. This isn't something I absolutely adore. I have heard it gets better as the series goes on, but I really don't want to stick around to find out. And it's just been sitting on my shelf for months, and I just can't, I don't want it there anymore, so this can go. The next book I'm getting rid of is Crazy House by James Patterson and Gabrielle Charbonnet. I read this, thought it was a mediocre book, and like pretty much immediately after I finished it I thought, yeah, that one's going. And it's just been kind of sitting in my donation pile for a while, so this is going still. I have no inclination to keep this at all. So another book by Alison Noel, and that is Faded. I got this because I recognized the author's name, and then I realized like I really don't like her work that much. I liked Radiance and Shimmer, and other things I'm just not that into, so this can go as well. The next book I'm getting rid of is another LK exclusive cover, but I feel like this one is better in the hands of someone else. Pride by Ibi Zoboi. I have never read Pride and Prejudice. I do want to get to that eventually, and I also I'm not that into contemporaries that much, as you can probably tell. I've mainly talked about on my channel fantasy and murder mystery kind of stuff, so this really just isn't for me, and I'd rather give it to someone who would be more interested and love this book a lot more, so I'm gonna pass that on. The next book I'm getting rid of is Revolution by Jennifer Donnelly. I don't know how to pronounce the name right, but Revolution I read back in like 8th grade, and I enjoyed it, and that's mainly why I picked this up, but I'm realizing now like I will never reread it. I read it once for school, and I never want to read it again, so this can go to someone who probably will enjoy this book. We're approaching the last few books, but this one I'm going to get so many comments below of people being like, why are you getting rid of that? You need to give it a second chance, that kind of stuff. And that would be The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I read this back when it first came out and was big and like everyone was excited about it. I read this on Kindle, and then I got a hard copy of it. I didn't like it. It could just be that it's just not the genre for me. It's just not something I enjoy. I never felt attachment to the characters. I didn't really want to keep going with the book. So I am not really regretfully giving this away to someone who might enjoy this a lot more than I did. So the next 3 books are a series that I don't think many people like have heard about, but to me it seemed pretty interesting when I found it. And that would be the Sabriel series by Garth Nix. This is Sabriel. Then we have Lyrael and Aborson. And these look really cool and they sound like really cool, but I don't think I'll ever get to reading them. Also, this is a mass market paperback and I hate those so much. So I find the plot idea of this really, really cool. It's about a necromancer, which is not usually touched on in fiction, so I find that really intriguing. It's just not really like, they're cool, but not really a book series that I'm ready to get into at this point, and I might never get into. Okay, so now I have 3 more books. And these are like the last 3 books that I have left to talk about, and that would be parts of the I Am Number 4 series. I did not realize when I got these books that the I Am Number 4 series is like 15 to 20 books long. I thought it was just like, you know, simple, normal 7 book long series, but no, it's like 10, 20 books long, and I don't have the time for that, so that's why I'm getting rid of these. If it was less books, or maybe if I had more time, I would totally read these, but I just don't have the time for that. Also, I realized I'm like talking behind the camera and not at the camera. I'm sorry. So that's pretty much all the books I'm unhauling. I'm not sure what the actual number is. I'll count and probably put it. The number is below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry it's a little bit rushed. Sorry the lighting's a little bit bad. I'm just really, really rushed. And I'll maybe explain why I'm so busy right now in a future video or something. So please leave a like. Please comment below. Well, please don't comment below if you're angry with me. I am getting rid of many, many books that have been loved by many. Yeah, I have a Goodreads down below where I keep my thoughts and ideas and books that I'm reading. Currently I'm reading Echo North. When this video goes up, I'll probably be reading something else because I'm almost done with Echo North and I just started it today. It's really good. And, yeah. I also have a Twitter in my link down below. I never use it though, so I might stop having a Twitter down below. That kind of thing. I might delete my Twitter. I don't know. Twitter's just not for me. I might start up an Instagram though, if I have time and if I can figure out what to post. But yeah, please subscribe if you're new, and yeah, please like, please comment, please do all of the YouTube things, and I'll see you guys next week for a video, probably maybe a haul or a bookshelf organization, because as you can see, my shelves have changed once again. And yeah, have a great day, night, or whatever, and I will see you next week. Bye!